Where is it? You grumbled under your breath, rummaging through the drawers in your bedroom, but couldn't find it. You heaved an irritated sigh and rushed towards the closet. As you opened the door, you bumped into something, or precisely someone. You screamed, losing your balance and leaning backwards, your eyes shut close as you braced yourself for a hard fall, but an arm snaked around your waist, steadying you. Your hands flew to get a hold of something. Breathing heavily, you slowly open your eyes, only to meet your husband's concerned gaze. The world faded in the background as you got lost in his eyes. "Are you okay?" he asked, and frowned in confusion when he got no reply. "Ryan, are you listening?" This time he spoke a little louder. You blinked as if coming out of a trance and looked at him confusingly. "What happened?" "If you are okay, please stand on your feet. My back has started aching," he replied, still holding you down against the pull of gravity. Your eyes widened as you realized the position you were in. You both were close, so close that you both were breathing in each other's proximity. His arms were around your waist, while your hands were on his shoulders, bare shoulders to be precise. That was when you realized that he was shirtless. You instantly straightened up and stepped away from him, avoiding his eyes. "I am sorry, I was just..." You trailed off and cleared your throat, still flustered about the earlier interaction. "There's nothing to be sorry about. Are you okay though?" You nodded, looking anywhere but at him. You felt your cheeks heating up as you could still feel the softness of his skin lingering on your palms. Jimin noticed your flustered expression. A small smile appeared on his lips, but he decided not to point it out and make you even more flushed than you already were. Have you seen my olive green shirt? I have been looking for it for half an hour, but it is not in my closet," he explained, and that was when you realized that you were also looking for your socks. "I probably placed it in my closet accidentally. Have you seen my socks?" You stated, your voice lacking surety, as you looked up at his face, fighting against the strong urge to look down. "Well, I stacked all the socks in a drawer," he replied, a subtle smile edged across his face. You both chuckled, a strange kind of warm feeling surging in both of your hearts. "I'm gonna go and put on a shirt and will bring your socks as well." You nodded and he turned around to walk back inside. Blood rushed up to your cheeks as your gaze lingered on his torn back. "Wear that light pink shirt you wore on our first meet. It looks even better on you," you spoke in a single breath. Turning around, you dashed out of the room before he could say something. Jimmy chuckled, staring at the closed door. He seemed to like the new change he had been experiencing since last month. "You and Jimin got married a month ago. It was an arranged marriage. After marriage, you two shifted to a new apartment. Since you were on a semester break, you both got plenty of time to blend in with the new surroundings and with the new person. Today, you were joining the campus again for the last semester, and Jimin too was preparing to join a college as an assistant professor. As life was finally picking up its pace, you both hoped your relationship also flourished beautifully. "Ryan, have you seen my car keys?" You watched him from the threshold as he remained to the living room searching for his car keys, which were placed on the table. You could sense his anxiousness, and it was normal. Anybody would be nervous for their first day at a job, especially the one that demanded teaching adult students. Heaving a sigh, you dragged your feet to the living room and picked up his car keys. "Jimin, here." He paused and looked at you as you forwarded the keys towards him. "Oh, thanks. I have been looking for these for so long, and you found them in just a glance." He smiled, taking them from you, but you held them tighter, refusing to let go. He looked at you, his brow furrowing in confusion. You took a step closer to him. "Are you nervous?" His eyes softened and he decided to let his guard down. He nodded slightly. A little bit, maybe. I've taken plenty of online classes, but it would be my first time interacting one on one with students, so I'm just freaking out. He scrunched his nose, earning a chuckle from you. You hold his hand, the car keys pressed between your intertwined palms. Don't freak out, you will do good. Trust me. Your enthusiastic response made his smile widen. Content by his wide smile, loosen your grip on his hand and try to pull it back, but he held it tighter and slowly brought you closer. You blinked as he wrapped his arms around you and enveloped you in a light hug. He placed his chin on your shoulder, his lips brushing your ear as he whispered, "Thank you for being my cheerleader. Now I feel a lot better and more energetic." Your lips twitched in a bashful smile as you hesitantly reciprocated the hug. "I'll always be your cheerleader on every bright or dull day," you replied with the same softness and felt his arms tightening around you. You both stood there, wrapped in each other's arms for a few moments in complete silence until Jimin decided to break it. "By the way, you didn't tell me how I look. I even wore the light pink shirt you suggested." Your face flushed and you buried it in the crook of his neck. This endearing reaction elicited a chuckle from Jimin. "I got it. Now that I have gotten your approval, I'm sure everything would be fine." You sat on your seat with your head down on the desk. Your classmates chatted among themselves, sharing stories about their break while you relished the moments you shared with your husband. Just the thought of him made you miss him even more. "I can't wait to go home," you murmured to yourself with a sigh. Just then, the murmur stopped and the class went eerily silent. You knew it must be the professor, thus you didn't bother to look up until... "Hello everyone, I'm Park Chaman. I'm your new professor and I'll be teaching you genetics." Your head snapped up and there he was, your husband, at the front, introducing himself with a confidence that left everyone impressed. "I expect everyone to engage, think critically, and support each other in learning. And I look forward to getting to know all of you and making this semester a great learning experience." He ended with a smile, earning a huge round of applause from the students. Jimin looked around with a smile, but his smile faltered when his eyes met yours. You could tell by the twitch in his gaze that he was shocked to see you there. The clap slowly died down and eventually stopped, but his gaze was still stuck on you. You sensed he wasn't going to look away soon, hence, you broke the eye contact first. So let's get started." He started his lecture, trying his best to not get affected by your presence in the room. Still, every once in a while, his gaze kept flickering back to you. Soon the lecture ended and fortunately everything went fine. The students left the room one by one. You and Jimin were the only one left in the classroom. You packed your bag and walked up to him. "You did an amazing job for a professor," you said, a teasing smile on your lips. He blinked and stared at you as if he had seen some ghost. "You are here for real? I thought I..." He trailed off, still not believing his eyes. You laughed softly and poked his arm. "You are not hallucinating. I'm actually here, and now I'm your student for a semester. Well, it's strange, isn't it?" He nodded, a sheepish smile edged across his face. Neither Jimin was aware that you were enrolled in the same campus where he was gonna join as a professor, nor you were expecting it. It was both awkward and shocking. "Have you seen the new professor who joined a week ago? He looked so fine." You heard one of the girls squealing as she talked about the new professor, aka your husband, when you walked down the hallway. "Oh my god, right, he's so handsome. I think I have a crush on him." Her friend replied with the same enthusiasm and they squealed, holding each other's hands. The conversation left you frowning as a tinge of jealousy stung your heart. Since the day Jimin had joined the campus, every other person was talking about him. They were literally swooning over him, and you couldn't help but feel jealous every time you heard someone talk about him. And since you both decided to keep your marriage a secret, you had no other choice except bearing it. Man, Professor Park is damn hot. I think I'm for him. He dramatically placed a hand on his heart, eliciting heaps of laughter from his friends. Guess they too were his fanboys. Your hands twisted at your sides as you hurried your steps towards your class. Till now, there were only girls swooning over him, but now boys had also joined the squad. Leave my man alone. He's already committed to me. You grumbled under your breath. Speaking of him, he emerged from a room, walking in your direction. You froze when his eyes met yours. His lips lifted in a soft smile as he walked towards you, acknowledging the students' greetings with a polite nod. Morning, Wine, are you feeling better? He asked as he approached you, his voice a mere whisper only you could hear. You responded with a slight nod, your eyes never leaving his concerned ones, and the reason was you had a terrible headache in the morning. Just let me know if you feel even a slight of discomfort. I'll take you back home. He whispered as he walked past you, your lips curved into a reassuring smile. The headache was long gone, but his caring nature made you feel butterflies in the pit of your stomach. You tilted your head to look back at him, only to witness students gathering around him to greet him or to have a little chit chat to calm their curiosity. You shook your head with a sigh. I think I too have a crush on my husband. Having a charming partner is a boon, but it can turn into a pain if there is a whole swarm of bees eyeing your flower. Just like now, your husband was surrounded by a bunch of your classmates because they all had doubts. How about you all go back to your seats? I'll explain it again. He suggested trying to shoo them all. The childish tactics were wavering his confidence. It made him feel like he wasn't teaching effectively. Thus, almost everyone had doubts. But, Professor, I understood the topic well. I just have small doubts. Your eyes zeroed on her. Lina, one of your classmates, was the one clinging to him more than necessary. You could see through her facade, but maybe Jimin was still unaware of it, or he might not want to pay any heed to it. You decided to step in to help him out of this chaos. You got up from your seat. Professor, I'll help them with their doubts. We have no class after this one, so I'll be glad to assist. Besides, you said we should support each other in learning. All the eyes turned to you. While a pair of eyes looked grateful, others glared at you as if you had snatched their favorite candies from their mouth. Perfect. So, anyone who has any doubt, ask Ryan for help. Now take your seats and let's proceed with the lecture. They reluctantly took their seat while Jimin mouthed thank you before starting his class. Lina, this chocolate, why did you buy it? Because as far as I know you, are not fond of chocolates, let alone dark ones. Lina juggled as she eyed the chocolate bar in her hand. It's not for me, it's for Jimin, she replied with a smile. Sana let out an audible gasp. Why are you calling him by his name? He isn't your brother. Lina glared at her and smacked her shoulder. Dare to call him my brother. I'll tell your mom you broke her favorite crockery set the other day. This made Shana shut her mouth. And he himself asked me to call him by his name. I told you he too likes me. Otherwise, why would a professor let their student call them by their name? She spoke with a proud look on her face. Your grip on the fork tightened as you heard her clearly, word to word, even you were sitting just on the table behind hers. You were sure many others would have heard it too because she spoke it loudly. Perhaps she did it intentionally because she wanted others to know. He is here, I'll be back. You watched as she got him and rushed out of the cafeteria. From the big glass wall, you saw Jimin going somewhere and Lina following him quietly. The whispers and murmurs insinuated that you weren't the only one who noticed that, and you knew that it wouldn't take long for the rumors to spread across the campus. What? He asked as he felt your piercing gaze bore holes at him. You shook your head and buried your nose in your book, scribbling some random patterns here and there. He shook his head and focused back on his own book, preparing for the next day's class. A few moments rolled down in silence before he felt your cold stare again. He lifted his gaze to your eyes and raised an eyebrow. What's wrong? You want to say something? He asked, but you didn't reply. Your constant stare made him shift on his spot. It made him feel intimidated, and you were the only person who could do so. He blinked, nibbling on his lower lip, and dropped his gaze back to his book until. Did you ask her to call you by your name? His head shot up, eyes bulging at the surprising coldness in your tone. What? Who? Lina, did you ask her to call you by your name? You asked again, your resolve unwavering. What? No. Who told you that? You spun on the rolling chair, facing his confused form. Lina, she's been going around saying you asked her to call you Jimin. You replied, leaving the part where she said he liked her. It had been only a few weeks since he joined his new job. You didn't want to burden him with unnecessary stress. What? I never said that. It was a slip of tongue from her side, and I said it's fine. I meant that I didn't mind her calling me by my first name accidentally. I didn't give her a free pass to keep calling me that. Give him a small nod and diverted your attention back to your books. Jimin was caught off guard by your dry response. He thought you were upset. Are you upset? You just shook your head, your eyes fixed on the book. He sighed and kept his book aside, smoothing the sheets afterwards. Come on then, let's sleep, he said, looking at you for any reaction. You sleep, I need to complete this chapter. His eyebrows crooked in a frown. He found it odd. Were you really studying or were you still upset with him? But it wasn't even his fault. You can finish it tomorrow. Come here now, he demanded, but you didn't falter from your spot, engrossed in the so-called chapter. He didn't like it. The lack of attention, the curt response, he didn't like it at all. Mustering up his courage, he walked towards your study table and closed the book. What the? You gasped loudly when he bent down and picked you up effortlessly. Your hands found their way around his shoulders as you gaped at him with wide eyes. His sudden bold move left you shocked and flustered. Even he himself was surprised by it. His heart raced due to nervousness, but he didn't let it show on his face. Jimin, what are you doing? You managed to whisper, your voice trembling with the whirlwind of emotions you were feeling at that fleeting moment. You were shy, nervous yet excited, all at once. He lowered you on the mattress, his upper half body hovering above yours. Are you upset? He asked again, still unsure of your earlier response. I told you I'm not. Really? Then give me a smile. That was when you decided to tease him. It took you everything to not smile at him, especially when he looked at you with adorable doe eyes, pleading to give any reaction, anything to assure him that you weren't upset. Give me a smile or else. Or else, you asked, raising an eyebrow. The next moment, your breath hissed when he inched closer to your face. His nose brushed against yours, breaths mingling together. Or else, I'll tie you to bed, and his words trailed off in a whisper. The intensity of his eyes made you gulp. The closeness made your head spin. And this came out as a broken whisper. He nudged his nose against yours and traced it along your cheek to your earlobe. His hot breath fanned against the outer shell of your ear that made you grab a fistful of cold bedsheet at your sides. And your eyes closed when he placed a soft kiss on your earlobe, your toes curled inwards, and will leave a clutter of spiders on you. Your eyes shot open, your lips parting in shock and disbelief. What? What the hell? You pushed him and he collapsed beside you, bursting into loud laughter. You should have seen your face. He kept laughing, irking your nerves. You glared at him, but when he still didn't stop, you grabbed a pillow and threw it on his face. He skillfully dodged it, his laughter getting louder. Invisible smoke leaked from your ears as you ground your teeth due to anger. Oh, fine, keep laughing. I'm leaving. You tried to get up, but he pulled your wrist, resulting in you landing on top of him. His arms instantly circled your waist before you could even think about getting up. Oh, can't even handle a little prank when you yourself decided to tease me first. I didn't do anything, okay? You pressed your palms on his chest and forced against his grip, but he didn't set you free. Groaning in annoyance, you dropped your head on his chest. He sighed, pressing a kiss on top of your head. Rest assured, Ryan, I won't entertain anyone else but you. Let's ignore these things until we can, okay? I'll take care of it myself if need arises. You didn't need to bother about it. He pressed another kiss on your forehead as you lifted your head to look at him. Good night, Ryan. Good night, Professor. It's messed up. You grumbled in annoyance, looking for your favorite blue sweater. Since you couldn't find it in your section, you rummaged through Jimin's clothes. A box fell from between his clothes, gaining your attention. You let out an exasperated sigh and bent down to pick it up. However, your hands paused mid-air when you noticed two pairs of red velvety handcuffs peeking from inside. Your cheeks reddened as your mind filled with unhinged thoughts. Above all, last night's events replayed in your head. The way he spoke with that edge of possessiveness in his deep, throaty voice left you gasping in anticipation. These he You swallowed a lump as you brushed your fingers against the soft seam of the handcuffs. Damn it, you cursed under your breath and hastily put them back in the box, placing it back in its previous spot. You raked a hand through your hair and cupped your flushed face. Fine, you pervert, stop thinking about those things. You slapped your cheek slightly as if to shake off your thoughts and walked out of the closet, your heart racing wildly. Your campus had a rule. Every day, a professor was assigned to sit in the cafeteria during break time. It was done because of some furious young bloods who would get into fights every other day, and today was Jimin's duty to sit and have lunch in the cafeteria. He sat on a table alone, peacefully having his lunch. But then, Lina decided to show up. Professor, can I have lunch with you? Jimin stopped eating and looked up at her. Why? Where are your friends? Go and sit with them. He stated with a finality in his tone, but Lina wasn't buying it. Despite him indirectly rejecting her request, she invited herself on the table and sat across from him. As far as I remember, I didn't accept your request, Miss Lina. He spoke his voice turned, but Lina just looked at him innocently, taking a bite from her plate. Jimmy frowned in frustration. You won't tell me to go somewhere else when I've already started eating, right? She said with a chuckle, but Jimmy didn't find anything funny about this. He noticed this all across from the cafeteria, throwing glories at them. You looked like you wanted to punch something, more like someone, more like Lina. Can't he shoo her away? Being his wife, I can't have lunch with him on campus. Then how could he let her sit with him on the same table? You lost your appetite. Grabbing your bag, you dashed out of the cafeteria. Jimin watched you leaving and darted a stunned gaze at Lina. Look, I know what you are trying to do, but that's impossible, so you better stop playing these immature acts. This is not immature, Professor. I like you and I'm trying to get close to you. She confessed without an ounce of hesitation. Now he understood what kind of a big deal it had become. Well, I don't know if you don't see it, Or you are ignorant, but there's a wedding ring on my finger. You know what it means? It means that I'm happily married to a wonderful woman. So I'm asking you politely to stop doing whatever you are doing, or I'll be forced to take action against you. I hope you don't give me a chance to do so. He got up, grabbing his plate, but before he left, he turned to face Lina again. Also, since you are good at spreading rumors, spread this information as well that I'm committed to someone, and that someone is not you. With that, he left from there, leaving Lina in shock. A few other students who happened to hear this passed this information on to their friends. It didn't take long before this entire campus knew that their favorite professor also had a favorite person. After a long day, you finally entered your bedroom only to find Jimin passed out on the bed. Poor guy was waiting for you, but you decided to spend your day by going shopping alone. You placed his shopping bags aside and tiptoed towards the bed. Waving a hand in front of his face, you sighed in relief when you found him deep in sleep. Having lunch with Lena, huh? You see what I would do now. You walked into the closet and came back with a box of handcuffs you accidentally knocked off this morning. Walking back to the bed, you tied one of his hands to the bedpost. You giggled silently as you proceeded to do the same with the other hand. As the handcuffs clicked, Jimin stood on his post. Your eyes widened when he opened his eyes and met yours. Oh, you are. What the hell? He frowned when he tried to move his hand, but something restrained his movements. Lifting his head, he found himself bound to the bedpost with the red handcuffs gifted by one of his friends on his wedding day. You smirked in satisfaction and got off the bed. Fine, what is this? Why did you tie me like this? He muttered, tugging at the cuffs as if they would magically disappear. That's your punishment, now stay like that. And what should I drop on you? Spiders, rats, roaches, ants, or lizards? You smiled, thinking you had the upper hand in it until Jimin decided to speak. How about you? Drop yourself on me. I'll be so glad to be in handcuffs underneath you. Your smile faltered. Your face flushed as his unhinged talks. It was Jimin's turn to smoke. Cat got your tongue, wifey. You tied me up like that and called it punishment. How about you take advantage of this? He winked at you, a suggestive smirk playing on his lips. A sleepy voice was cherry on top of the cake. It was supposed to be his punishment. It wasn't supposed to backfire like that. I hate you, you grumbled and plopped down on the bed. He laughed, not the slightest bit affected by it. Listen, I denied her, but she forcefully said to have lunch with me. But I made it clear that I have a very beautiful woman at my home and I'm very happy with her. But I forgot to add that a beautiful woman can be dangerous when she is jealous. He teased, and you face palmed, embarrassed. If you don't want to take advantage of my restrained state, free me. You avoided his eyes as you shifted closer and unlocked the handcuffs. As his hands fell loose, you grabbed you by your shoulders and switched the position within the blink of an eye. What? You gasped in shock when he tied your hands within a span of few moments. You stared up at him with wide eyes as you tugged at your handcuffs. Jimin, free me. Nope. I gave you a chance to take the lead, but you missed it. Now you are in control. He whispered, brushing your hair off your face. You tugged at the handcuffs when he brushed his lips on your cheek. You inhaled sharply, arching your back. He pulled back slightly to meet your eyes. Your eyes clashed in an intense eye lock, the emotions in yours mirroring his. What do you want to do? What do you want me to do? He whispered, reaching out to unlock one of your hands and wrapped it around his neck. Kiss me, maybe, you whispered back, gliding your fingers through his hair. No, there's no room for maybe. You ask something, you ask for it boldly. If you have even a slight doubt, I stop. You tell me to stop, I stop, okay? You nodded, wrapping your other arm around his shoulder as he let it fall loose. Let me ask again, what do you want me to do? "Kiss me," you replied, as wildly as he asked you. "That's like my pretty girl." He smashed his lips against yours, pulling you in a fervent kiss that made your heart spin. He parted for a moment, letting you take a few breaths. "I ain't stopping at only kiss tonight. Neither do I want you to stop." Your lips met again for another kiss. Many more awaited ahead.